Hi guys. Alright, so we're going to go into part 12 of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department police reports. On November 6th, Deputy Joseph M. Tenner was assisting a group of 5 search and rescue and cadaver dogs in the quarry immediately to the east of Avery Road. The quarry belongs to Michael's Materials. During the search, one of the dogs hit on a pile of dirt and sand north of the quarry scale, where the dog alerted to I located an item in the pile of dirt. The item was red in color, surrounded by pink material. I'm assuming this is probably what they believe to be tissue. The item that was referred to as possible tissue. The area was marked with fluorescent pink ribbon and a washer. A total of 3 out of 5 dogs alerted to the area. Remained in the area and monitored the location until Deputy Nicholas Stablick relieved him, then led 3 employees of the Wisconsin State Crime Lab to the location to check it out. Yeah, I'm assuming that's in one of the quarry piles that they found some random things that I think turned out to not be human or not be actual tissue. Investigator John Dietering, Sunday, November 6th, at 13:20 hours, Detective Jacobs, accompanied Detective Jacobs to speak with Honorable Judge Fox at his residence. They got a search warrant to search 2 buildings on the Avery Auto Salvage property. This warrant was received at 13:35 hours. I further received a search warrant allowing us to examine certain records held by Singular Wireless regarding Teresa Halbach's cell phone number or cellular number at 13:50 hours. And that's all of that. Another search warrant. Investigator John Dietering, November 6, 2005. On Sunday, November 6, 2005, at 14:18 hours, made contact with the following individual by telephone, Randall L. Williams. Williams stated he had been watching the news recently and indicated that on Tuesday afternoon, he was at the Avery's Auto Salvage yard. This would have been on November 1st, Tuesday, November 1st. He indicated he observed a skid steer working in an area and felt that it was unusual. Williams stated that he frequents various auto salvage yards, and he will usually see forklifts moving equipment and car shells, but finds it very unusual that a skid steer was in the area. He went into the shop to pay. He observed Stephen Avery sweeping the floor. Williams stated he will be coming through the area and would point out the location where he observed the skid steer operating. He described the skid steer as being a yellow bobcat type with a bucket. He stated that the movement was taking place Tuesday, November 1st, between 13:15 and 13:30 hours. At 17:40 hours on Sunday, November 6th, Detective Jacobs and Dietering did meet Randall Williams at the roadblock. He did take us to the area where he had observed the bobcat working. This was in an area south and west of the old shop. Search dogs were directed to the area. Williams had indicated that the skid steer was working in an area where there was a large mound of what appeared to me to be engines and or transmissions. So that's interesting, and I think it probably turned out to be nothing. But that's the second time I've heard skid steer used in this case. So something weird, maybe. All right. Deputy Rick Reimer on Sunday, November 6th, 2005. Rick Reimer was directed to assist Calumet County Sheriff's Department Deputy Daniel Kacharski, mainly processing a black Ford F-350. I assisted Kacharski in lifting hair and fiber from the right area of the passenger seat near the floorboard. And that's all of that. Just, collecting some hairs and stuff. All right. Investigator John Dietering. On Sunday, November 6, 2005, at 16:10 hours, Detective Dennis Jacobs and I, Dietering, interviewed the following person at her residence, Kathleen T. Stahl. Ms. Stahl indicated that there had been a vehicle parked where her paper carrier delivers the newspaper for several nights. She stated, however, that the vehicle was gone at night. She stated the vehicle was there for 3 consecutive days. She described the vehicle as being a black 4-door van. She stated she saw the vehicle in the daytime, but it was always gone in the evening. This is going with her husband, who was confined to a wheelchair, who wasn't able to see out the windows and stuff. I guess she's returned from shopping, and they've contacted her at her residence about this to talk about it. They showed her a picture of Teresa's RAV4, similar to Teresa's RAV4. Ms. Stahl indicated that it was possibly the vehicle. However, the photograph which was displayed to her had stripes on the side of the unit, and Ms. Hallbox did not. Ms. Stahl indicated that during the first part of the week, beginning October 30th, her dog was out in the pen and did bark solidly for 20 minutes. She tried to console the dog, was unable to settle it down, and she was unable to give further information as to what day of the week that had occurred. Just that it was in the first part of the week beginning October 30th. So, yeah. And I don't know whatever came of that. That's the last I've heard of that one. Investigator John Dietering. On Sunday, November 6, 2005 at 19:39 hours, I, Dietering, did receive DNA and palm and fingerprint search warrants from the Honorable Judge Fox at his residence. These warrants were not executed, were turned over to ADA Froelich, and subsequently reissued. And that's all of that report. Nothing of interest there, and going on. Hey, it's Mr. Tyson, who likes to write very long reports again. Alright, so here we go. Bill Tyson, November 7, 2005. I, Sergeant Tyson, working with Lieutenant Link and Sergeant Colburn, we proceeded to Barb Janda's residence. Sergeant Colburn did enter Barb Janda's residence because he said he searched her trailer the day before and noticed there was a large number of car keys. Why didn't he take them then? I mean, I don't know. They were supposed to go search her residence, and it sounds like Colburn just ran in and came right back out. It looks like 2 minutes later after he had gotten the keys. Sergeant Colburn did enter Barbara's residence at 8:03 hours and did come back at approximately 8:05 hours. Sergeant Colburn did have a handful of keys, and we did attempt to open the trunk of the Chevrolet Caprice, but was unsuccessful with any of the keys he had located. All right. Later on in the report, I did receive a telephone call from Investigator Wiegert requesting we re-enter Stephen Avery's residence to obtain a serial number off the computer that was located under the computer desk in the living room. Of course, because they need that porn, right? Jody told them about it, and now they got to go and get it, right? At 9:57 hours, Sergeant Colburn, Link, and I entered Stephen Avery's residence and did obtain the information that Wiegert requested. I did telephone Investigator Wiegert from Stephen Avery's residence and informed him blah, 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 blah. We did exit at 10:04. All right. 5 million guns were located at Barb's, apparently, and not really. Just kidding. But good grief, they have a lot of guns and on this property. Like, all of them. They have lots of guns. I received a phone call indicating we needed to leave Barb Janda's residence and respond to Cuss Road for a suspicious incident. This was the possible burial site found by the volunteers. After clearing from this suspicious incident, we did go back to Barb Janda's residence. And I don't know why he broke it up this way, but it's so weird how he did this report. But we were notified the Wisconsin State Crime Lab was on the scene on Cuss Road, and we were requested to come back to the area to assist the Wisconsin State Crime Lab. The potential area of suspicion had been blocked off by crime scene tape, and I did check in with Investigator Dietering. It shall be noted that this was an area that was discovered earlier in the day by search volunteers who had located an area approximately 3 feet by 3 feet that appeared to be disturbed soil. After the photography by the Wisconsin State Crime Lab was completed, Lieutenant Link, Sergeant Colburn, and I began digging up the area and quickly found out that this was not a possible grave or burial site. Upon reporting those findings to Investigator Dietering, the crime scene tape had been removed and the area was reopened. All right, that problem solved. All right. Hey, hi, Wendy Baldwin again. All right, on November 7th at approximately 8:50 a.m., Wendy Baldwin, was requested to stand by the garage and burn barrel at Stephen Avery's house until evidence technicians arrived on the scene. I did stand by with this until approximately 15:39 hours, so she stood there for quite a while. When the barrel was recovered by Calumet County Sheriff's Department, Ken Matuzek, looks like. At approximately 1900 hours, Honorable Judge Fox did sign a search warrant for the computer of Stephen Avery and for the DNA collection of the following people: Alan, Brian, Charles, Bobby, Dolores, Barbara, Earl, and Stephen Avery's. All right. Investigator John Dietering, November 7th at 10:28 hours, made contact with the following individual by telephone: Michelle Kanzelberger. Kanzelberger indicated she had been engaged to Earl Avery for 2 years and that their relationship was from 1987 to 89. She was very familiar with the property. She would be willing to assist the investigators in any way she could regarding any sort of historical information and geographical. Oh my gosh. All right. Brainstorming turned to mush. Probably should chill for a little bit after this video. Geographical layout. One thing I did find of interest was that Miss Kanzelberger indicated that Stephen Avery was not the only family member capable of this sort of behavior. That's kind of an interesting thing to say. Alrighty. John Dietering. On Monday, November 7th at 10:35 hours, Dietering was contacted by Investigator Wiegert. He requested that an investigator go to the east end of Cuss Road. Responded to the area, spoke with retired Deputy Inspector Michael Bushman. Bushman was leading a team of searchers in the area. It should be noted that the end of Cuss Road is apparently 1/2 mile away from the western edge of the Avery property. I arrived at the east end of Cuss Road at approximately 10:45 hours, spoke to Bushman. He indicated he had found a possible excavation site and did take us to the site. The area was then taped off crime scene and the area was frozen. No one was allowed in or out. The possible excavation area was processed by the crime lab personnel. I was notified the excavation area was not pertinent to this case. GPS coordinates for this area, in case anyone is curious, were north 44 degrees, 15.263, and west 87 degrees, 42.031. Very weird, but okay. Alrighty. Deputy Rick Reimer on Monday, November 7th. I assisted Sarah Fauski, looks like, and her bloodhound Loof with tracking. Fauski and I walked to Rad Ant's quarry. One of the more significant tracks that Loof and Fauske tracked was from the south entry door of the Red House trailer near the concrete stoop. This track did continue in a westerly direction toward a cul-de-sac at the end of Cuss Road. It was indicated by Fauske that Loof was very intense on this track. So it looks like, to me, there's a bloodhound tracking what I would assume to be Teresa, maybe, from the Avery property to the Randats. That's kind of an interesting thing. Of course, we do know that, there was some of her remains found there, so I guess it's not that much of a surprise. Alrighty, and alright, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop this right now. It's getting a little bit long, and chill for a minute, upload this video, and hopefully I'll be ready to go for the next one. I've got quite a few more here to go through, so I could start reading again. Alright, check out Clue TV, and thanks for watching.